welcome back everyone to another episode of Waratah Cove. We're on our third episode today. We're working on the main ferry pier in the city. So in Sydney, this is pretty much named Circular Quay. It's a tourist attraction. It's pretty much more tourists there than locals. Open place, lots of trees, restaurants, bars, and then of course all the ferries come from there. So pretty much every single ferry that goes around Sydney will end up at Circular Quay. I have started off already just building the main area of where I wanted the pier to be. So as you might have just seen, I just pretty much reshaped the whole area, just popped some keys down using the roads as a guideline, which most of you know how to do, so I didn't really think that was very interesting to show. This is going to be the pier. I've already placed it down, so it is the vanilla pier, but I've actually found it in the workshop where it didn't have the road attached, so I could move it back a little bit more without that weird clipping effect that kept happening. It was really frustrating. So yeah, I found the vanilla pier to work pretty much perfectly as to what I needed. I tried so many different ones in the workshop and they just didn't look right. They were otherwise just way too big and fancy, or yeah, I just couldn't really find what I needed. So tried the vanilla one out and it's pretty much great. It's just what I needed. All I've added to it really is this roof here. So I'm using procedural objects at the moment just to get it to look right. But the Circular Quay one, it looks really similar to this. I'm just kind of adding this roof here just to make it look a little bit older. They are very rusty, the real ones, so they're just, it's so hot here in Sydney in summer, so they've aged quite a lot and they look pretty much exactly like this, so I thought that was a really nice touch to add. Now along the piers where the entrance is, I'm just adding a huge walkway for pedestrians. So I don't want any cars or any traffic to come through here. I just want it to be a nice big walkway. Probably not going to be possible with actual gameplay. I've tried to use TMPE, but the cars end up coming there somehow anyway, so you'll probably see that later on with the cinematic shots. There's always a car that just pops up somewhere. So, but yeah, the plan is to have it just as a pedestrian walkway, so we can fit some shopping centers along here, a couple of hotels maybe, but that's pretty much what the vibe is of this whole area. Now the shopping centers are going to be looking quite fancy. The ones I've added, this one here, as you can see, I love the rooftop thing. That just makes so much sense for where they're actually placed. You're looking over the ferry, so that seems quite realistic to have something like that there. And then we've got a big hotel as well. So these are pretty much the buildings that I decided on, so the rest I kind of just get rid of later on. But the way I usually work this out is I do go through the workshop, I kind of pick out all the buildings that I think I'd like to use, so I place them down and then I pretty much go through, place them all down, shuffle them around, see what fits, and then I pretty much settle on it and then just get rid of the rest just for that area that I'm working on. Now along this path, so I'm placing all these decals down just to make this area feel a little bit more separate from the rest of the city, just to make it feel like it is its own area, which it pretty much is in Sydney. So it's quite a fancy area. So yeah, I've got some nice like cobble decals. But yeah, with the shopping centers that are placed down, we are going to be putting a lot of cafes and restaurants down the bottom. So that's pretty much what this whole walkway will be. It's just I want there to be a lot of people traffic and just everyone, you know, just a whole tourist area of just restaurants and shopping, stuff like that. Now there will be a big park along here as well. So similar to what we have in front of the Museum of Contemporary Art, which is MCA in Sydney. It is along the waterfront, and then it's a big old building, and then we've got a huge patch of grass, which is just filled with people sitting down all the time. So if you're not in a restaurant or a bar, you'll probably be walking along the quays, or you'll be sitting on that patch of grass. So it's just looking over the water. So that's the plan that I'll probably work on a bit later on, but I have just kind of set it up in this episode just by adding in, I've just added in a tram line that runs along the quay. There is going to be no cars along that one, just simply the tram, which I thought was kind of cool. And then along the tram on the right side is where all the people can just walk, and then the left side will just all be grass and where the park is. Now, of course, I'm adding in another car park. I wanted to actually do a big, like a parking garage, but it just didn't fit right in this area. And I couldn't find anything to place behind this hotel here without blocking those windows and making it really crappy. So I just popped down a big open car park like this, which I'm happy with. That's fine. And I like seeing the cars parking as well. Just gives me an idea that there's actually people there. But yeah, happy with this. And we don't want the views being blocked as well from the people in the hotel. So finally plopping down some of the cafes. In this one, yeah, I'm just reusing the ones that have already been created in the workshop, so they make my job a bit easier. But yeah, they look really nice as well. There's a lot of detail in them, so I do use those quite a bit. But every now and again I do plop down my own ones as well. Finishing off a lot of decals. I mean, I keep realizing, oh god, this whole area hasn't been done as well. So there's just a lot of that, and a lot of weird tricky areas as well, where I just have to keep using procedural objects just to try and make the decals fit. It's a shame because some of the decal packs do have the options where they're a square and a circle, which works really well, but unfortunately for this one that I'm using, it didn't have that option, so I did have to try and fit it in myself, but they end up looking alright. There's a lot of weird areas in this. I swear every time I build quays and piers, there's always weird dips in the ground where I just can't level it out. And so I do try to hide it by just adding planters a lot of the time when there's just a weird glitch area. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Just add a planter, some bushes, some trees, and then no one will know. But you might notice there are a few sections where it just dips a few levels below, and I've really tried to figure it out, but I couldn't. So sometimes in cinematics you may just catch one, so see if you can see how many you spot, because there is a few. I decided to end up widening this one as it just didn't seem realistic to have a smaller road. I was just thinking, oh my gosh, this is coming straight off the main road from the city, so I've got to have it 2 lanes both ways. So I did have to do a little bit of readjusting here, which took a while, but yeah, it makes a bit more sense. Now, something you'll see me do quite a lot in this series is actually removing the crosswalks and actually making them the 2 parallel lines. This is everywhere in Sydney. We do have the zebra crossing as well, but we actually mainly have just the 2 parallel lines. So I have pretty much changed most of them to that. I just feel like it looks a little bit more like Sydney to me, but some will be left the same. And just to bring the city a bit more to life and make it look more realistic as well is just by adding billboards. So I just added the big Prada one to the shopping centre, and then I've just got these ones that I found in the workshop as well. They're seats with these little billboards, so I thought that was kind of cool. Got some paintings that I've added down there. The main thing that you would notice if you go to the Circular Quay area is there's a lot of buskers everywhere. There's a lot of performers, magic acts, music, artists everywhere. It's because there's so much pedestrian traffic there that it's just like the hot spot for performers. So I did try to pull that off a little bit. Obviously you can't do that with the Sims themselves. I couldn't really find anything in the workshop, but maybe if I find something later on, that would be kind of cool to have like a little circus performer. What I've done is I've placed down a few canvas artworks, so which you'll see later on as well. Kind of placed one under a tree where it looks like someone's just selling all their artwork, and then I popped another one just across the pedestrian path where there's just a couple of seats sitting down, and it looks like there's just a lot of portraits. You know, they'll do caricatures of you, or they're really good at painting celebrities as well, so they usually have like the celebrity ones there. So I thought that kind of looked like that canvas that I popped down, which you'll see, but that's the kind of thing I was trying to pull off. So we're very close to the end now, guys. I really appreciate you watching another episode. I'll just leave you to watch the cinematics, and if you subscribe, I release a video every week. Follow me on Instagram as well for updates, and I occasionally post some really nice photos of Sydney as well, and so just to kind of familiarize you with what I'll be working with and building. So yeah, thanks again, and I hope you enjoyed the episode.